Hey guys, Sean's here. Sean is here to show you guys today how to take apart a drive shaft and replace a U-joint. So today's victim is this itty bitty guy. All right, so a little background on this guy. If you haven't watched our series on our Fummins diesel, last time you saw it, it was on the road running and driving. Now you haven't seen it since, and this is partly the reason, but the other reason is we kind of got busy doing other projects and, you know, creating content for you guys. This is the aftermath, basically all last summer of driving the truck, you know, putting it through its paces, learning what it's about, and, you know, mainly having fun with it. So what the kind of the first straw to this U-joint's death was is I pulled a 2500 Dodge Ram up onto a trailer, and that kind of we did it in a kind of sketchy way where I was on the side of the trailer with the high volume 4-wheel drive, and we hook chained to it and pulled it from the side. That obviously put a lot of strain on that poor U-joint.
Wait, now hold on there just a second, bud. You also did this.
That's how that's done, boys and girls. It's been broken slash cracked slash whatever for a while, and then we drove it to a car show. It threw basically the rest of its guts parts apart on the road, and we did make it home, but just barely. Here about a month ago, it saw its absolute end when we were getting it out of its position where it sat all winter. Today, this is mainly gonna be a really quick how-to video, because when I was younger and first starting out, there was really not a lot of information and insanely good tutorials on how to take U-joints and stuff apart. I mean, there is a couple, but they're not really the way that, you know, our community, our subscribers probably do it. Because if you guys actually do drive death traps and are on a budget, you guys aren't gonna have this guy. I know this is just a Harbor Freight example of one, but you probably do not have a hydraulic press. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it the hard way, and I'm gonna do it with a socket and basically a maul. This is kind of the old way to do it when you don't have the tools or you don't have the press to do it right. This is gonna be a quick tutorial. If you wanted to skip all of that talking, we're gonna get started right now, and I'm just gonna show you really quick. All right, so here's our drive shaft. She's bad shape. She flew apart, whatever. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna use this here vise. If you don't have a vise, I recommend that you basically just find a nice even part on the ground. Heck, even find like a 2x4, 2x6. It will all work the same. You're gonna want to first remove your little snap rings. Now, if you're really not careful, those snap rings like to take flight. Now that one came out real easy. There's that guy. I'll take this guy out as well, if I can get a hold of that. Snap rings out. Boom. That was easy. Sometimes, if you don't have a needle nose, you can also use the vice grips. I've used the vice grips before. If you don't have a vice grips, use your tweezers from inside. Not really, don't use tweezers. All right, then get in your drawer of handy dandy socket. Okay, if you don't have sockets, go find a pipe. What you're trying to do here, we're just gonna take a guess. Say this 13/16 is pretty close. You want to find a socket the same diameter as that hole right there. Same diameter. 13/16, too big. Come back over here. What's more than 13/16? Maybe 11/16. We're gonna try that. Now that's a little too small. Should have went with 3/4, because guess what? That's a little bit smaller than 13/16. If you're really good, you have a well-organized drawer, and obviously we're not good at basically anything. That is gonna work quite nicely. We're gonna go with that. Now, then what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna also wanna find a socket that is the same diameter as this outside portion. By outside portion, I mean this guy out around here, that diameter. Okay, come back over. Again, if you don't have a socket, find a pipe. Pipes work pretty decent. 7/8, we might get lucky there, might not. A little bit too small still. Hopefully we'll find a 15/16. 15/16. Now it don't matter what socket you really use, just as long as that cap's gonna fit inside there. Now you can't really tell, but that should work pretty nicely. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out as we go. You're gonna take this socket, you're gonna put it in your vise. I'm gonna put this guy on my hand. So clamp that baby down, or put her in the press. just nice right there. Okay, you're gonna grab this guy, put it basically as you can see on the center there. You're gonna take it like that, and you are gonna beat that thing like heck. You're gonna beat the living crap out of it. Find yourself a good sized hammer. We're gonna go over to my hammer wall and pray that here's a big hammer over here. Well, I guess this big Vulpine, that's not very heavy. If you guys have the same problem as we do, we usually can never find any tools around here, which is basically typical for any shop, especially when you're constantly working on things. So once we get that there socket in that there vise, we are gonna come over here onto this floor here. We're gonna lay that there first. We're gonna take our small hammer because we couldn't find a big hammer. And we are gonna tap, tap, tap a do. Tap, tap, tap a do until that is flush with that. So that went way too smooth. So something is obviously gonna go wrong. Now the hardest part is basically holding this up at the same time and keeping it in the socket. That went well. You can kind of feel it give as you go, or you can feel the socket give like that. So obviously we're getting somewhere. Since we already went into that socket a little bit, we're just gonna put it like that on our vise. Again, if you're using the floor or 2x4, you're gonna need to keep that socket under it. But since I've got a vise, we're just gonna do that. The hardest part is keeping everything kind of lined up so you can still get it where it needs to go. You need to really hope that that cap stays there and comes out just like that. Now that that is out of there, what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy and we're going to smack that other cap hopefully on out. We can actually do this. Since that U-joint is completely trashed, we're just going to take this here. We're going to bring it down. Bring it all the way back down. Hopefully get that cap to go all the way through. Just like this. Still coming out. She's bottomed out. So as soon as your U-joint's bottomed out, that's as far as it's gonna go. Since again, like I said, this is junk. This is just how it's done. Bingo. That's freaking trash. You know, grab your punch or your other socket, go down through here. Done. That's it. That's how you remove it. That was probably like 4 minutes, maybe. Who knows? Alex will tell you.
According to my calculations, it was actually 4 minutes and 29 seconds. Thank you.
Then you pray that they gave you the right U-joint. Now I'm not sure, since I just trucked that puppy, which side's which. Y'all might want to make sure before you throw away your old U-joint which one's which. Your difference here, we had a solid U-joint installed, or I did, when this drive shaft was built, and I was told that it should take the power that the stock diesel has, and it's pretty evident that it really did not. So that's trash. And other thing you're going to want to do is make sure these caps doggone close. Now if you had a dial caliper indicator or whatever the exact terminology is, I'm sorry guys, I can't. Not the best at remembering things. If you have one of those, that'll make life a lot easier to tell you if those caps are the same. Now, I'm pretty darn sure that they're very similar, at least. To do this, we're basically just gonna do the opposite process here. We're gonna put that guy in through there and just barely tap. Tap, 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 do, because you don't want those guys fall out. We're gonna bring that back out because we need to meet it in the center. Bring it back out. Make sure none of those little needles fall out of there, or else you're going to be poop up a creek. Luckily. There we go. Come on. It's there. So you just want to thread that in there. Gently put that there. Now you can start this guy. Put that other cap on the other side. You're going to gently bring that to. We want to meet these in the center. And then you want to slide it in. Slide it in both sides so your needles are still lined up. That guy is in there pretty decently. That guy's also in there pretty decently. You want to make sure that is still in the range of movement, and as we are, and the caps, see when we turn that, the caps, if the caps were moving, that would definitely be too small. They are not, evidently. So I'm going to take your 3/4 inch socket, since it was perfect. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. We're gonna tap again. Tap, Tap, tap. Okay, that one is, you want to get so your bevel is right underneath where your snap rings go. So you can get those snap rings back in there. We're gonna give this the old smackers. Smacker, smack. Smacker, smack. Smacker, smack. And one more smacker, smack. Oh my gosh, look at that baby go. That's pretty nice, Clark. Real nice, Clark. You have new rings you can put in if you really want to. If you don't want to, use your old ones. It doesn't really matter. Since that U-joint was barely old enough to drive, we could reuse those, but might as well use the new stuff if you haven't lost them yet. Oh, why did I do that? I'm kind of slow. Bing. That guy is in its little spot. You want to make sure those are seated. If those don't get seated, those will pop right out, and then you'll be stranded on the side of the highway like I've been multiple times. Now, take your 3/4 inch and snap that back in because she took a little bit of a beating earlier. A little bit more, a little bit more. Bingo. So now your snap ring is very tight on that side, and we're tight on that side. Now, as you'll be able to tell at that time, this guy is going to have a little bit more tension on it, which is good. You want a little bit of tension. You don't want extreme amounts of tension. Kind of like a relationship. You want to be equal tension, not one side with more tension. Snap that in. Make sure that goes in, guys. Like I said, or else you're going to be straining on the highway on the way back from Good Guys. I don't know how long that was. I could probably take a look on this camera. That was about 10 minutes. Now, let me move my hands here so you can actually see my face. If you're really good, you could probably do that in less time than me, and you're not filming and talking about it. You could probably do it in 5-10 minutes. Now, I've also had those U-joints be such, you know, pains in the arse that it takes 30-40 minutes just to remove the old one. Now, since that was a newer U-joint or newer drive shaft and everything, didn't go bad at all, which is fantastic. So, I hope this helped you guys, and check out our Foamans diesel build. The next video, maybe after this, will be it back on the road and running and driving once again. So check out our other videos, guys. Subscribe, like, do whatever you gotta do. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.